Hello, darlings. Hello. This is Miss Karen with the Open Book. Honey, how are you? It is a place where I get to share all of me with all of you. Now, today's story is all about Phaedra Parks. Phaedra Parks, of course, is one of the divas from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, who has been a cast member since season 3. So I don't know what year that was, but it was since season 3. So as you all know, Phaedra has had her fair share of scandals. Okay, she of course used to represent Apollo, and then Apollo goes to jail, and she gets out and she marries Apollo. So like, who's marrying their clients? Number one. Then there was the huge scandal that she had something to do with the racketeering and was working side by side Apollo in terms of this insurance scam they had going on, and there was a young lady who was a part of it as well. She went to jail, and so she attempted to write a tell-all book. Well, of course, being Miss Phaedra, being the accomplished attorney that Miss Phaedra Parks is, honey, of course she shut that book down, honey. She shut it down, and I am not surprised. Okay. So then that was an issue. Then, of course, Apollo goes, in the last season, he goes back to jail, and come to find out, there is a new woman that they bring to the camera. And if you pay attention to the timeline, Apollo's relationship with this new young lady and his, phasing out of a marriage with Phaedra, they overlap. So, which means that he clearly had an, affair on her. But then again, it was rumored that Phaedra was having an affair with some African prince named Mr. Chocolate, honey. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm just telling you what was out there. So that, was an issue. Then Phaedra, I hate to say the word lied, okay? But she bent the truth, and honestly has been found to bend the truth multiple times. Remember back in earlier seasons when they asked her how far, long she was in her pregnancy, and she attempted to say that she was certain, a number of months, but really she was this, and it just wasn't adding up. So they caught her in that fabrication. Let's just call it a fabrication. They caught her in that. She also bent the truth when they asked her, had her marriage been resolved with Apollo? She attempted to say, yes, it was, but come to find out, honey, just prior to the reunion, the relationship had not been resolved. Okay, dissolved. The marriage had not been dissolved, and she presented paperwork. Excuse me. She presented paperwork at the reunion, and someone said, honey, the paperwork was false. So, Phaedra has been caught bending the truth so many times, and I love Phaedra. I love Phaedra's death. I think that she is gorgeous, and I think that she is extremely accomplished, but she has been caught in a number of falsehoods and a number of scandals over the 6 seasons that she has been on the show. So then we fast forward to the last season, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and there was a humongous scandal where Phaedra, who is a part of Frickin' Frack, honey, told Portia that Candy wanted to molest her and Todd both, and that they had some type of a sex dungeon and all this other stuff. Well, it did not come out and was not revealed that Phaedra was not telling the truth until the reunion, and it really broke everyone down. Because it's one thing to tell a story on someone, but when you were telling a blatant bald-faced lie about someone, you are attacking their character, you are attacking everything that they have built as a brand, as a business. And out of all of those girls, Candy is owed money. Candy has had money for a very long time, honey, since her Escape days, and she's the highest paid diva out of all those divas. So, for Phaedra to make up that lie, it's, especially as an attorney, you see what I'm saying? Because that's defamation of character. You can be sued and held liable in court for that. And for her to be an attorney and to pull that crap, like, it's unforgivable. So, honey, fast forward to more recent times, and it is said that, according to RickySmiley.com, thank you, Ricky, I love you, boo, love you, honey. So, according to the tea, well, let me just back up from that tea. Hold on, let me back up a little bit. So, okay, so probably a month, 2 months ago, it was reported that Phaedra attempted to sell her home. Now, what I did not know until just recently is that Phaedra actually has three homes, and I want to add this too. Phaedra's salary reportedly is 1.3 million for each season of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she's tied with Cynthia. So Candy makes the most. Then my girl Twirl, hey Twirl, she makes second. Then Cynthia and Phaedra were tied for third. And then Portia reported at the least at 700 million, even with Sheree making 800 million. So, I don't know about you, but honey, that is a lot of money to me. And it is not a position that I would want to lose. So, since coins are tight, now Phaedra can sit there and say that she has all these coins and this, that, and the other. But honey, when you have lost a $1.3 million check, I don't give a damn how much money you have. Coins are tight, okay? So she is attempting to downsize. Of course, Apollo is still in jail. He has moved on. She also had to pay Apollo, as she reported in the reunion, I think over $100,000 and maybe even more than that. But she had to write a check to Apollo. And I want to say rightfully so, because one, you married this man while he had just gotten out of prison, so you knew his background, honey. And as the old folks say, you knew his pedigree, honey. That's an old term, honey. She knew his pedigree, okay? So she married him as he was. She knew that he was a convicted felon. She introduced him to a life of the rich and famous, a very lavish lifestyle. So you can't go from living like that to being cut back to living like government cheese and beans and franks, honey. It doesn't work that way. So she had to write him a check to pay. So she tried to sell the house for over $1 million. No one's buying. No one's buying the house. There's another house that she has where she is trying to rent that out. Now, I don't know if that house has been rented out, but the last time I checked, that house wasn't rented out either. So she is sitting on three houses, which I'm sure is potentially three mortgages, okay? She lost a $1.3 million check. And thanks to Mr. Smiley, honey, it has been reported that she reached out to executives to attempt to come back to the show because clearly she needs that check. Hello. And they told her no. They told her absolutely not. They told her that the lies that she told were so incriminating and so foul and disgusted and lowbrow that none of the other women want to work with her. Now, there has been, a lap in time between her coming onto the reunion and now, because we're now approaching into a new season. I don't know when the Real Housewives of Atlanta is starting, but I know that they are filming and a new season will probably be coming up before the end of the year. So nobody wants to work with her. And it breaks my heart because she is basically a single mother. She has two kids. Her mom helps her out. I'm sure her dad helps her out as well. But when you have three houses, when you have lost a $1.3 million check. Now, mind you, these heifers are not recording for a year. They ain't even recording for 6 months. They're probably recording all of 3 months worth of work, and you're getting a check of 1.3 million. Hell, I would work 2 years, 3 years to get that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? But to do that little bit of work and to get a check like that, that's not something that you want to screw up. And she did. And my heart goes out to her. I'm sorry that, she, her finances have been cut. I'm so sorry that she is going to be struggling immensely. But, I always say I'm old school, honey. And the old folk will tell you, you cannot throw shit without getting a little bit of it on your hand. So, honey, she threw all kind of shit at everybody. They call, Toro calls her Messy Fei. So I personally love Phaedra. My heart goes out to her. But when you have thrown as much shit as she has thrown, honey, then you have to expect that some of that bullshit is going to come back to you, because what goes around comes around, and payback is a bitch. That is all the time that we have. Until next time, love yourself and each other. Give more than you receive, and always do everything in your power to be the best possible person that you can be. This is Miss Karen with the Open Book, and until next time, have a great one. Bye.